Hi folks, Six Slices here. Now here's a knife. Now this could be a real Marmite knife. You could love this or hate it. Certainly the finish with this sort of green Damascus and the green anodization and the green anodized backspacer could be a bit on the gaudy side. And I suspect if I was going to sit down on and choose one of these, they're probably not the colour scheme I would go for. But the owner of these knives has two, and the other one is quite plain. And I picked this one to show you just because it is jazzy and bright. But I think I might go for a slightly more subdued version. This is a bit in your face. But having said that, there are lots of other things about this knife that I absolutely love. And this is a knife I would love to see in my collection. I probably should say that at the end of the video rather than at the beginning. I think this is a really lovely knife. Now, of course, it's not going to be UK legal, but hey, it's not legal. It's perfectly legal to own in the UK. It's just not legal to carry. This is one of those times where the law is very definitely an ass, because this isn't a big threatening knife. I mean, I don't agree with the laws, but I can understand why we're not allowed to carry large sebenzas. You know, if we have a problem with knife crime and kids stabbing each other, maybe that's not being able to carry big knives like that is a small price to pay. But not being able to carry a small knife because it locks just seems to me ridiculous, and this is a great example of that. Now, this is a small titanium flipper made by Olamic. Olamic make their knives in California, but I believe there's some dubiety over where the parts of their knives are made. I believe that they are in the American euphemism, overseas made. In other words, probably China. But their final assembly is done in California, and all the customization is done in California. And there is a wheen of customization that you can order from them. These items here, the inserts, the collar, these holes, the backspacer, they are all specifiable options. But this knife, I believe, came from Lamnia, who are a European knife dealer, and they buy in a set of a number of knives, and you can choose one from their website. This one is still on their website, although it does show as special order only, delivery time unknown. And really, if you're just going to sit and wait for this knife to come up again, you're probably going to be unlucky. You would have to order it as a factory order, and you get it. But that's not to say there aren't dozens, literally, of other designs that come up that are, you know, some have got the holes, some have got the stripes, some have got both the holes and the stripes, some have got neither. You know, you can choose, and the backspacers and pivot collars are all the same. There are also two blade shapes, which I believe they call this one a Warncliffe. They call it a Warncliffe? No, sorry, they call this a sheep's foot. And the other one is a Warncliffe. I wouldn't say either of them look like sheep's foot or Warncliffes, but you know, it's the modern thing. We're obliged to give these knives names. Now we've got a lanyard hole here, but it's kind of incorporated into the design, which I think is quite nice. If you wanted to use it, you could use it. It is a top front flipper. Now I'm never sure about front flippers, whether they work or not, but I'll tell you something, this has just the best action, and I absolutely love it. And now of course it'll fail just because I've said that, but every time, and it's solid as a rock, absolutely solid. I never looked at this side of the knife before I showed you the blade. we've got a milled titanium clip. I'm never a big fan of milled titanium clips. They look nice, but I'm never sure they kind of work as well as a spring clip does. You've got two little standoffs to hold it off there. Green anodized again. All the hardware's green anodized, and it's a frame lock. It's got an external relief cuts, which I just don't understand that. Why would you do it? Why not just put them, you know, Chris Reeves invented the thing, put the relief cuts on the inside. Why would you want to put them on the outside? I just don't understand it. And you've got obviously an insert and an over travel stop as well. It's a bead blasted finish, and yeah, it's picked up a couple of little snail trails. You got a beautiful satin blade. I would imagine you can reverse flick it, by the way, using that hole, or open it with your thumb using that hole if you want to. But I just love the flipper on the top. I can't do any of the fancy flicks, so we'll not be worrying about that. Also on this side, you can see that this is, can that show all right? Yeah. This is CPM 20 CV, and you have this little number here, which I'm going to cheat because I can't read that, it's too small. But I believe it says WS099-S, which is the solo special. But it's generically, this is the Olamic Whippersnapper in the sheep's foot design. I mean, I don't know where you get sheep's foot out of that, but there you are. Now, what this knife reminded me of was two other knives that I have in my little collection, which are the Fox Knives Suru and the MKM Isonzo, which are both Jesper Fox Knives designs. This is not a Jesper Fox Knives design, or at least I have no reason to believe it is, but it kind of gave me that sort of same vibe. Possibly it's the shape of the hole in the blades, the overall shape, the forward finger choils that make these little knives into something which is not too small to handle. Because I suppose the thing that kind of gets me about this knife is you're talking about a cutting edge of 2 3/8 of an inch, an overall blade length of 2 3/4. These are small little knives. The only reason they're not legal to carry in the UK is because they lock. Now, Heine Haynes has done non-locking versions of both of these knives. The Fox Suru was actually quite a very successful one in my book. It had a real quality feel about it because it has a titanium handle and a double detent. The Heine Haynes UK legal version of the Isonzo I just didn't like at all, mainly because they changed this handle to really aggressively grippy G10, and they made it black and red, which I didn't like either. But this one is a liner lock, as is this a liner lock. The Olamic, although it might be similar in its vibe as far as I'm concerned, is just so much a nicer knife. This has such a ring of quality about it. It's almost unreal. You know, it's, as I say, you got that front finger choil, so you can get it in your hand, and it gives you, you know, a full hands grip, even for my extra large hands. It's a beautiful quality knife. Now, like I say, I'm not sure that this particular finish is perfect to my taste, but that's a style thing, and it's easy enough to specify something that's different. At some point we'll probably get the other Whippersnapper along. It won't be in the next batch, I don't think, but maybe next year we'll do it, and we'll see it in a plainer form, which I think is probably actually the more attractive. But I wouldn't be surprised to find that this one was chosen because it has these features on it, because they're quite prominent. And I can understand that too. If that's the way you like it, you know, have it that way. But I wouldn't let it put you off this as a knife in general. I just think it's a fantastic knife. In some ways it's wrong, because I don't. I have a love-hate thing with frame locks. A lot of the knives that I really like are frame locks, but I like them in spite of the fact that they're frame locks, rather than because they're frame locks. I just think it, you have a nice knife at the side of the knife, and you have a not so nice. But what I really like about this one is this action. Oh, every time, so positive, so solid. And like I say, I've yet to make this one fail, and I'm not good at flipping. I like the hand-rubbed satin blade, and this is what hand-rubbed satin blade should look like, by the way. Beautiful and even, but at the same time kind of clearly hand-rubbed, not all over the place like some knives I've reviewed recently, which look like they were not so much hand-rubbed, but done on a machine, and inconsistently at that. This has a good edge on it too, sort of semi-shiny and very, very sharp. But although this knife is small, and I say should be a perfect carry in an office environment or non-knife people friendly sort of knife, it's got enough stoutness behind it to work. It just, it's lovely. It's got lovely chamfered edges, lovely swedge. It cuts. What's not to like about it? That's all I can say. What's not to like about it? I don't say that about every knife that comes across my desk, but this is one that I really do like. And is it worth the £591.46 that it currently costs? I don't know, but I can see why people might pay it. It's 8 times the cost of an MKM or Sonzo, but it's just so much smarter, so much nicer. It's only about 2.5 times the cost of the Fox, which is a better comparison in terms of materials. But it's when you see that comparison side by side that you realise that the quality, this is it's supposed to be a sort of pocket worn finish. It's not just worn out, it's the way it's supposed to be. But it's easy once you get these knives in hand to see why this one costs 2 or 3 times as much as that one does. There's just so much more attention to detail that's gone into the manufacture of it, and into the design as well, I have to say. But I'm not sure I'd want to pay extra for these bits. And a more standard looking one can be had for for as little as £345.90. Now, in a way that compares more directly to the Fox Suru, and you're talking about almost double the price. But I think that will probably be a fair change to make, or a fair advance to make for a. Then there's a slightly blurred line. They're not a custom knife, but they're not a production knife either. They're a hand finished knife. In a way, like many sort of traditional knives, a lot of the parts are nowadays CNC machined and so forth. You know, you get a Great Eastern cutlery knife, all the parts are either CNC machined or laser cut or water jet cut, and a lot of the treatments that are applied to them are machined, and then there's some final finishing. There's a lot of hand finishing that's gone into these quite clearly, and a lot of customization into this particular one, so that bumps up the price. But the bottom line is, I think this is a great little knife, and I was very, very pleased to see it. I've seen them on Nick Shabazzi's channel, and I wasn't quite so taken with it until I had it in my hand. Once I actually had it in my hand and I saw it, I thought this was something quite special. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. If you like this stuff, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see some more knives, and there are more to come, then please feel free to subscribe, and remember to ring the bell if you want notifications. Thank you very much. Bye.